The sky was burning when Jason ran through the forest. He didn't know who fired first, humans or aliens, but now everything was on fire. Trees cracked like bones, machines screamed, and the ground shook with each blast. His radio was broken. His squad was gone. He was alone. Jason tripped over a root and fell into the dirt. His side hurt from earlier, but he had no time to stop. He crawled under some twisted roots and waited. The forest was quiet now, but too quiet. No birds, no bugs, just smoke. And then he heard a soft breath. He turned fast. Just a few feet away stood something that should have attacked him, but didn't. She was tall, taller than him. Her body covered in smooth dark fur. Her shape was strong but also very beautiful. Her glowing golden eyes watched him without blinking. Her face was strange, alien, but also soft. Her chest rose slowly as she breathed. She didn't speak. She just looked at him like she was studying him. Jason raised his hands. "I'm not here to fight." She tilted her head. Then she pointed at his mouth. Jason blinked. "You want me to talk?" She stepped closer slowly. Not like a predator, but like she was trying not to scare him. Her clawed hand pointed again at his lips. Then she placed her own hand on her chest and said something in her language. A single word. Jason didn't understand. She tried again. Chatel. He guessed it was her name, so he pointed at himself. Jason. She blinked, then repeated, Jason. He smiled a little. She smiled too, but it was small, like she wasn't sure if she did it right. She sat down across from him, folding her legs in a calm, strange way. Jason slowly sat too. She reached into a pouch on her side and pulled out a flat stone tablet with strange markings. Then she did something that surprised him. She pointed at a word on the stone and said it in her tongue. Then she pointed at Jason. Waiting. He understood now. She wanted him to translate. She wanted to learn English. He looked at the marking and guessed. Tree. She blinked. Then repeated it in a soft voice. Tree. They did it again. Then again. She pointed. He guessed. She repeated. Every time. She got closer to the real sound, but then she touched her chest again and said, Mate? Jason froze. She didn't smile this time. Her eyes were very serious. Mate, she said again. Her voice soft but direct. Jason felt his heartbeat change. She pointed at herself again. Then him. Then she said one more word in English, very slowly. Yours? Jason didn't answer right away. He didn't know how smoke still rose in the distance. The war was still going on. But in this small part of the woods, two beings from different worlds were sitting close, sharing words. And one of them had just asked something that could change everything. Jason didn't know what to say. The word she had spoken, mate, was simple, but the meaning behind it was not. Maybe she didn't fully understand what it meant. Maybe she did. Her glowing eyes didn't blink. She was waiting. I don't think you mean that the way humans mean it, he said carefully, but the alien woman only tilted her head again, confused. She touched her chest. Chatel, mate? Jason shook his head slowly. Not yet. It means a lot. She watched his face like she was trying to read it. Then, for the first time, she looked down, almost shy. Jason changed the subject. He pointed at a tree. This is a tree. She repeated, tree. He pointed to the ground. Dirt, dirt. They continued like that for a while, word by word. Her voice was strong, but soft when she spoke English. Her lips formed the words carefully, like each one was a gift. Jason was surprised by how fast she learned. Smarter than she looked, and she already looked like she could read his soul. Later, Jason offered her a protein bar from his vest. She sniffed it, took a small bite, and her ears twitched. Then she ate the rest in one go. Her eyes sparkled. She made a happy sound in her throat. Jason laughed. You like that? She pointed at the wrapper. Mate food? He laughed again. Louder this time. No, that's just food. But she looked proud of herself. She understood the joke, even if the words were not perfect. Suddenly, a sound broke through the trees. A sharp whistle metal against air. Jason grabbed her arm and pulled her down low. Moments later, a drone flew overhead. It passed them then, disappeared into the smoke. Jason didn't let go of her arm right away. She looked at him with a strange expression, half worried, half something else. And she placed her hand over his. Safe, she said softly. Jason nodded. For now. They moved deeper into the forest together. Shaytel stayed close, watching his every move, every word. She was learning fast, too fast, but Jason didn't mind. Something about her felt calm, not like a soldier, not like the ones who had killed his friends. They stopped near a small stream. Jason knelt to drink. Shaytel crouched beside him, watching again. Then she whispered something he almost didn't catch. Mate. Protect. Jason looked up at her. Mate protect mate? She asked. He swallowed hard. Yes, that's right. Her ears perked up. She seemed to understand something important. Then she pointed at herself. I protect you. Jason felt a strange warmth in his chest. And for the first time, he didn't just see her as alien. He saw her as someone. The stream water was cold, but clear. Jason filled a bottle and handed it to Shaytel. She took it with careful fingers, sniffed it first, then drank. Her eyes closed as she drank deeply, ears flicking back in peace. Jason sat down on a mossy rock and let out a long breath. I don't know what's going to happen next, he said softly. But I'm tired of running. Shaytel looked at him. Running? Bad? He nodded. Very bad. She thought for a moment, then said, No more run. We fight? Jason raised his eyebrows. You want to fight? She nodded once. I protect mate. Jason smiled a little. You really like that word, don't you? She smiled back, more sure of herself now. Mate strong. Mate kind? Mate? Jason looked away quickly, his face getting warm. Let's just teach more words. She laughed softly, a strange but beautiful sound. They spent hours there, in the quiet. Jason showed her words for sky, rock, leaf, cold, friend. Each time she learned faster. Her voice was still rough, but more confident now. She even started forming small sentences. You have strong eyes, she told him once. Jason blinked. That's not a word I taught. Shaytel tilted her head again, teasing. I learned fast. Later, when the light grew golden, Jason stood and looked around. The forest was too quiet again. We should move, he said. Too open here, Shaytel agreed. She moved silently, walking beside him like a shadow. Every now and then she sniffed the air or raised her ears, listening for danger. As they climbed a rocky hill, Jason stopped. Below them, across the trees, he saw fire, a human outpost. Still burning. Jason's heart sank. They didn't make it. Shaytel touched his shoulder. Bad ones? He nodded. They killed my friends. Shaytel looked down, then up at the smoke. You sad? Jason nodded again. Very. Then she did something strange. She stepped close and placed her forehead gently against his. Jason froze. Her skin was warm, her breath soft. Her eyes closed. It felt like a silent promise. I protect, she whispered again. I stay. Jason didn't speak. He didn't need to. That night, they found shelter in a fallen ship, half buried in dirt, but dry inside. Jason used a small flashlight to light the dark. Shaytel explored the space carefully, sniffing and listening. Jason found a dry corner and sat. Chantel curled beside him, her tail brushing against his leg. She didn't ask for space. She didn't need to. After a long silence, she spoke. Again. Teach more word. Jason smiled. Okay, which word? She thought for a moment, then she looked at him and said, kiss? Jason choked on his breath. What? She said it again, this time slower. Kiss. What is kiss? Jason looked into her golden eyes, glowing softly in the dark. He didn't know how to answer. Not with words. Jason's heart beat faster. The word she asked, kiss, wasn't just a word anymore. She knew it meant something. The way she looked at him, eyes half glowing in the dark, told him she understood more than she let on. He looked down. Kiss is when two people care about each other. They show it with a touch. Chantel leaned in slightly. Touch? Where? Jason smiled nervously. Usually the lips. She touched her own lips with one clawed finger. Then his gently? Like this? She asked softly. Jason's throat tightened. He slowly nodded. Yes, like that. She moved back a little but kept her eyes on him. I learn, she whispered. Jason wasn't sure if she meant the word or the feeling behind it. They slept beside each other that night. No walls between them, just quiet breathing and soft warmth. At one point, Chantel curled closer and wrapped her arm around his waist protectively. Jason didn't push her away. In the morning, he woke to the sound of footsteps outside the wreck. He placed a hand on her shoulder. She was already awake, ears turned toward the noise. Without speaking, they both crawled low to the back exit. Outside, two human scouts moved through the brush, wearing black armor. Jason wanted to call out, but something stopped him. Chantel's hand touched his chest. Danger, he whispered. Humans. She growled low in her throat. Not your humans, hunters. Jason watched. The men were carrying shock batons and scanner gear. They weren't searching for survivors. They were hunting aliens, Jason's stomach dropped. He turned to Chantel. If they see you, they'll kill you. She looked calm. I fight. No, he said quickly. We hide. They stayed low, waited for the men to pass, and then circled deeper into the woods. Jason's trust in his own people had cracked. These weren't soldiers. These were cleaners sent to wipe out whatever alien life was left. When they were safe again, Jason sat down and shook his head. They're killing everyone, not just warriors. Anyone different. Chantel placed a hand on his. You. Not same as them. Jason looked at her. You don't blame me? She shook her head. You teach. You help. You care. He didn't know what to say. He just stared at her, her calm strength, her deep golden eyes, her soft voice speaking his words. You're not what I expected, he finally said. She tilted her head. What did you expect? He smiled sadly. Someone who hated me. She moved closer. I don't hate, I choose. He whispered, choose what? Her fingers brushed his cheek. Mate. Jason closed his eyes. This time, he didn't correct her. Asterisk, the next day, the sky was dark again. Smoke from distant fires moved through the trees like a warning. Jason and Chantel didn't speak much. They moved quietly, carefully, away from the zones where human squads were searching. Jason's leg hurt more now. The pain in his side had spread. He tried to hide it, but Chantel noticed. She made him sit and pushed up his shirt. Her eyes narrowed. Wound, she said. It's fine, Jason lied. She growled low in her throat. No fine. She opened a small pouch and pulled out strange green paste and thin bandages made from plant fibers. She worked fast and gentle, cleaning the cut and spreading the medicine. It might sting, Jason said, but the paste felt cool. The pain faded a little. What is that? He asked. Chatel smiled softly. Gift from forest. Heels deep. Jason leaned back against the tree. You're full of surprises. She looked at him closely. You weak now, I protect. Jason laughed softly. You're already doing that. She didn't laugh. You're mine, I keep safe. Jason blinked. You keep saying that. Why? Chatel sat beside him. Where I come from, choosing mate is life promise, not just word. It's choice. And you chose me? She nodded once. You speak soft. You share food. You don't kill without reason. You listen. You feel. You see me. Jason went quiet. He felt her warmth beside him. Her voice was calm, but her words were heavy. I've never had someone choose me, he admitted. She leaned, her head on his shoulder. Now you do. They rested a little longer. But soon, they had to move again. They crossed a river, using stones to stay dry. On the other side, Chatel stopped. Jason looked at her. What is it? She touched a tree with black burn marks. Her eyes narrowed. My kind lived here. Village, gone. Jason looked around. The signs were clear. Scorched ground. Shattered bones. Burnt fabric. She stepped into the ruins like she was walking through memories. This was your home? Jason asked. She nodded slowly. Then her hands formed fists. Jason stepped forward. Chatel, I'm sorry. She knelt and picked up a small charm from the ground, a pendant carved from bone and crystal. She looked at it, then hung it around her neck. Now I remember. Now I fight, she said. Jason knew what that meant. She had been patient, gentle, soft with him, but she hadn't forgotten her past. She had just chosen not to live in rage. Until now. He stepped beside her. You're not alone. She looked at him, eyes burning brighter than ever. You fight too? She asked. He nodded. You chose me. I choose you. She smiled, but it was different now. Stronger. Fierce. Then we fight. Together. The forest burned behind them, but Jason and Chatel walked forward, side by side. Their path was no longer about escape. It was about justice. They moved like one. Jason taught her human words. She showed him how to walk silently, how to spot hidden danger, how to use the forest like armor. That evening, they reached the edge of a human camp. Jason recognized the Symbol Special Forces cleanup unit. The same ones who had hunted her kind, who had killed without warning. He crouched behind a rock. Chatel was already scanning the area, her golden eyes sharp in the fading light. We can't take them head on, Jason whispered. Too many. Chatel pointed to the wires running along the ground. Boom lines. You touch, you die, Jason smirked. But if they trip their own traps, She smiled back. We guide them. They waited until nightfall. Then Jason threw a broken metal plate into the far trees. The sound echoed. One of the guards stood up. Alert. Another followed. Then one of them stepped into the wire. A blast ripped through the camp. Lights flashed. Screams echoed. Chatel moved fast. Quiet like a shadow, she knocked out 2 soldiers before they could aim. Jason followed, disabling comms with a stolen tool. It was chaos. In the end, only one man was left, a captain. He aimed a rifle at Chatel, shouting, You're just animals. You don't belong on this planet. Jason stepped between them. She belongs more than you. The captain hesitated. Too long. Chatel struck. Fast and clean. Silence returned. When it was over, Jason stood still. Smoke floated through the trees again, but this time it didn't feel like fear. It felt like the end of something dark. Chatel touched his hand. You okay? Jason nodded. You? She looked at him with soft, steady eyes. Now? Safe. He sat down on a log, breathing hard. She sat beside him, close. I don't want war anymore, he said. I just want to live. She looked up at the stars. Then we build, not destroy. He glanced at her. You're sure? You could go back. You're free now. She turned her body toward him, placing her hand over his chest. I stay, she said. Why? He asked. She smiled. Because you are my word, Jason blinked. What word? She leaned close and whispered it softly. Mate. He laughed. Once, then nodded. Yeah, I think I'm yours. They sat there together as the forest cooled around them, no longer running, no longer hiding. One human, one alien, and one word that changed everything.